Choice is beautiful, and having it is a blessing. But it's also important to understand something about choice. Iblis hates you, and one of the ways he tries to crush you is by destroying this part of you, the ability to choose. Choice is a double-edged sword. Making good decisions will allow you to succeed, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. But making bad decisions will crush you. So while Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calls you to making good decisions, He sent messengers, the last of whom Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam, to help you navigate life to make better decisions. Allah sent the Quran as guidance, and guidance means giving you the tools and the skills to make better decisions. Iblis is trying to get you to do the exact opposite. And we'll talk about, inshallah, in upcoming videos about some of his ploys and his plots to try and get you to make bad decisions. But I want to focus on one of Iblis's psychological attacks against a human being. It's called al-ya's. It's called disparity. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, quoting Yaqub alayhi salam, when he told his children, go look for Yusuf and his brother Benjamin, go look for them. He tells them, وَلَا تَيْأَسُوا مِنْ رَوْحِ اللَّهِ إِنَّهُ لَا يَيْأَسُ مِنْ رَوْحِ اللَّهِ إِلَّا الْقَوْمُ الْكَافِرُونَ. He tells his children, do not despair from Allah's mercy. The only people who despair from Allah's mercy are those who have rejected Allah and disbelieve in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What is Yaqub alayhi salam telling us? You know, it's very serious to say that the one who despairs in Allah's mercy cannot but be somebody who rejects Allah. Man, that's serious. What does this all mean? And what does it mean for us today? As human beings, we have choice. And as soon as we feel that we are stripped of choice, something very dangerous happens to the human being. For some, feeling that they have no choice essentially destroys the person's ability to have hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You see, when you have hope in Allah, you essentially see light at the end of the tunnel. You see different possibilities. You see a better future. Right now you're going through financial difficulty, but your hope in Allah allows you to imagine a future where that's not the case. And because you can imagine that, you start pursuing that future. You start acting towards it, both in terms of your day-to-day life, but also in terms of your spirituality and your tawakkul in Allah. You start raising your hand saying, oh Allah, get me out of this financial difficulty. Oh Allah, I'm pursuing the rizq, so provide me. You are ar-razzaq, provide me. That's hope right there. But what shaitan tries to do to the human being, and you know what? Sometimes human beings do this to other human beings, is to try and break that hope by convincing them that no matter what you do, no matter how much you try, no matter how much dua you make, there's simply no hope. And when the human being succumbs to that, what's called today hopelessness, depression, they essentially feel like, what choice do I have? I have no choice. And now they plunge into depression. That's a very dangerous situation. And what that means for us, dear brothers and sisters, is that whenever you get thoughts, things in your mind that are very pessimistic, I'm not talking about informed pessimism. I'm talking about psychological pessimism. These thoughts in your mind that keep telling you, keep insisting that no matter how hard you try, there's no hope. That come to you and say, you did these wrong things in the past, and no matter what you do, Allah will never forgive you. Oh, you've tried to pray your 5 daily prayers, you keep messing up, why are you even trying? All of these types of whispers are from the shaitan, because his goal is to break your ability to see choices, and let alone choose. So be very careful of that. Part of being a human being is having choice. And if we are in the feeling or in the state where I don't have choice, your humanness, your ability to feel alive begins to succumb and begins to crumble. And to parents and to future parents, the very common parenting style of dictating everything and anything to your children and essentially not allowing them the ability to choose, that parenting style essentially breaks the child. And what I notice is that one of two things tends to happen. Either the child patiently waits until they are independent, and when they are independent, they completely isolate and disconnect themselves from their parents, severing any ties and any relationships. Why? Because of the damage that the parents did to the human self and the natural human urges. Or the child rebels. They start rebelling against their parents. And sometimes their rebellion is very strategic and very well thought out. The child knows the sensitivities of the parents and will begin to rebel on the things the parents take seriously. So if the parents take religion seriously, the child will start saying, prove that Allah exists. No, I'm an atheist. They're not saying this because they actually believe it. They're saying it to agitate the parents in rebellion, in anger at the fact that the parents were so dictative over the child. And this isn't just teenagers and young adults, even children. You have to allow them the space to choose. And so sometimes you see, child psychologists will say, allow your children choices, give them 2 forks and let them choose. And some people are looking at that, it's like, how silly is that? It's not silly at all. What you're showing the child is that their choice, right? They have choice. And that choice allows the child to feel human and not feel oppressed, not feel confined. And because they feel human, their behaviors tend to be more moderate. So human beings need to feel as though they have choice. So never succumb to hopelessness. And the other element, the other side of this, is how do you make decisions? If Iblis can't get you to be broken and to strip you away from the feeling that you have choice, then what he'll try and do is misinform your decisions so that you make wrong decisions. He misinformed Adam alayhi salam and our mother Hawa alayhi salam. He misinformed them by telling them, hey, if you eat from the tree, then you'll become angels. Or if you eat from the tree, you will live eternally. He misinformed them. And so we Muslims, we believers, we human beings, in order to appreciate and to maintain this blessing called choice so that it actually functions the way it's meant to function and not actually do the opposite. Our choice is meant to bring us closer to Allah. But Iblis wants it to be used in a way that makes us more distant from Allah. You have to learn. You have to learn your fiqh. You have to learn the halal and the haram. You have to learn what Allah wants for you and from you. And you also have to learn what you need to stay away from. And so seeking knowledge, dear brothers and sisters, is something that helps us make better decisions. It informs our decisions. And when our decisions are good, we feel better as human beings. Our ability to be well, inshallah, is better and more intact. And so here, very important, having choice and making decisions is inherent to the human experience. And there's nothing shameful about it. But be careful not to follow in the 2 traps of the shaitan, to try and break your ability to make decisions, thus making you hopeless. And be careful of him misinforming your decisions to where you make wrong and harmful decisions. And always remember that Allah has nothing to gain from you. And Allah is not a tyrant over you. And when Allah sent the messenger to inform us and to guide us in our decisions and to teach us the halal and the haram, Allah says, وَمَا أَنْتَ عَلَيْهِمْ بِجَبَّارٍ. We didn't send you to be a tyrant dictating everything for them, forcing them to behave a certain way. But rather, in Allah's mercy to us, He sent the Quran, He sent the Prophet ﷺ, so that we can make better decisions. Assalamu alaikum. Jazakumullah khair for watching. Please share this khair and let other people benefit from the lessons, and support this masjid by becoming one of its sustainers.